Good morning, Mata Nui! Welcome back to another episode of the Barraki Talk Show. We're your hosts, the Mielik brothers,
Jacob,
Samuel,
Thomas, and we're glad you're joining us today as we talk our way through the weird and wondrous world of Bionicle. But first, coming up on the Barraki Talk Show.
So he wakes up and Jala is yelling at him and he's like, "You gotta get to work, bruh." And he's like, "What do you mean work?" He's like, "You gotta get to work. You know the thing that Takua never does?"
Get wrecked.
Vakama's like, "This is like evil." And Makuda's like, "Yeah." Who do you think I am? I don't know what you expected.
I know. All that and more coming up on the Barraki Talk Show.
After the events of the Toa Hordika, there is one last task Vakama must complete before heading to Mata Nui, recovering the legendary Mask of Time. This is the story of how he outplayed and outwitted two of the most powerful beings in the universe to obtain one of the most powerful objects in the universe.
So, before we get started, we again have a special guest star.
Welcome back.
Yep, Spencer.
I just, couldn't stay away. It's too addicting, this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So true. How many episodes have you listened to?
He's almost listened to one episode.
Wow, one episode.
He's like, "Give us the one with me in it."
Actually, that was 2 episodes.
Oh,
and I
true.
listened to both of them.
If you've listened to all of the episodes, if you even listened to 2 episodes, you're a more loyal viewer than Spencer.
Congratulations.
You too could be on this show.
Send us your resume.
Bionicle credits,
Must be written on a Bionicle.
Also,
And all
you
in the
have to
toric.
show proof that you have watched more than 2 episodes.
Yes.
Yes.
Film yourself watching 2 episodes.
React streamers. So, starting off, this is going to be like a more of a book club style podcast, right? Because we all read the book, more or less, Spencer.
I didn't even know I was going to be part of this until like a couple days ago.
Yeah, and I told you a couple days ago to read the book.
And you loaned it to other people.
And Spencer said, and I quote, "No, I don't want to do that. I want to go in blind."
I'd rather play Rogue.
Anyway.
So we're going to be going through the plot in a pretty strict sequence, but making excellent and hilarious comments
Did you
along the way.
mention what book we're actually going through?
No.
Okay.
We're going to be doing dun 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 Time Trap.
Which is the 10th book
Correct.
in the
Bionicle
Adventures.
Adventures
Yep,
series.
the
And
last
it's the
of-
last
yep.
one of the Toa Metru
So this is
saga.
after Hordika, after everything. It's right before Inika.
Yep.
I have to say, so Scholastic did a good job of tying in all the all the holes that were throughout the comics of the Metru and Hordika series.
Yeah.
Scholastic did a good job. So if you're like just watching the comics or reading the comics, you really should check out the books.
You would have no clue
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on.
It's- It's really interesting because it's been so long since I've read one of the Bionicle books all the way through. And having read this one, I'm like, wow, I realize how much I have been missing not reading the books, because I'm like, they're actually pretty good.
Right?
And there's a lot of information in there where it's like, oh, so that's how that works. Or, oh, that's why that happens. And
Yeah.
it's like, this makes way more sense.
That's when I do summaries. I feel like I'm carving out a piece of my soul because I have to leave so much unsaid.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I would go through the book like line by line and just comment on
Because it's
stuff.
all important too.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not all of it, but a large portion of it is important where you're like, that's a critical line right there. Like, that sets the foundation of an entire part of
The
canon
universe.
lore, right?
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
like, wow,
And
that's
there's, like-
kind of crazy, actually.
There's like crazy little lore tidbits sprinkled throughout these books that you're just like, where did that come from? That's like game changing, and it just like,
And
it's
it's so-
a throwaway
Yeah,
line.
that's what I was gonna say. It's
like,
just in
okay.
passing. Greg's like, this thing. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, the Great Temple is built on the dead corpses of these mutated Matoran monsters.
That was actually something that I found really interesting. I had no clue about that.
Turaga doing looking at Matoran corpses. Put them to work.
And we've plugged it so many times, but
BioMedia
BioMedia Project,
Yep.
just Check it out.
Where
The
you
link's
can
in
read
our
all the books for
description.
free,
Actually,
Spencer.
it's not, but I'll put it in.
The link will be in the description, so check it. We use it for pretty much all of our research.
Yep.
And
You also might be able to find the books at your local library if
yeah,
that's
a
still
lot of
probably.
libraries still have them for sure. And you know what are
One
they
that
going to
came
do
out
if you
or
don't
something?
return it? You know, charge you some dollars.
They'll hunt you down with Voporak and age you. Okay. And don't go dissing public libraries. What the heck was that kind of comment?
Kidding.
And also,
joke.
librarians will kill you. That's not a joke.
I was a librarian.
There's
once,
a series
so
all about
can
that.
confirm.
Anyway, so are we ready to hop in to the book?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the longest
feel
pause
like-
of all time.
I don't know. I thought that was you were gonna answer your own question there. I don't know.
Yes, we are going to hop into the book.
No, you're just gonna start
Thomas is
going.
like doing a Dora episode
Yeah.
where it's like, should we cross the bridge? I think we should cross the bridge.
Literally maze of shadows. Should we continue on or go back? No commas dying. Let's continue on.
Anyway,
No comment.
we've only made that
That
joke about.
Normally we
Three
do
or
it with
four
the
times.
comment.
There were definitely some no comments in there.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Now let's talk about the book.
Oh my
book.
gosh, just go on.
I knew we
Go
were going
on.
to talk about this book.
When are we going to talk about it?
Now, now,
Please now.
please now.
Okay. So it starts off the book, and the Toa Metru are all heading to Mata Nui on the airships. Like, we did it. We beat everything. Everything is good to go. Hallelujah. Praise Kitongu. And then Vakama is sitting there, is like, wait a second. I think we forgot something. Like, what could we possibly have forgotten, Fire Spitter? He's like, the Mask of Time.
And they're all like, oh.
Yeah, in the book it says those three words made everyone fall silent, even Onua. Because I love that because it's like, yeah, you did forget something pretty big there, didn't you?
You think? Only the most powerful mask to be created so far.
Yeah, not to mention Makuta's on the loose and knows the approximate location of where it went into the water.
Well, I think that's what's really interesting about it is because it would have been pushed from their minds and it wouldn't have been as critical except that Makuta is now on the loose.
Yeah.
Like if Makuta was still trapped, I feel like it's still an important thing to go after, but the urgency would not have been there. But it's like Makuta knows where it is. So
yeah, that's what I like, because like it could only happen at this time, right? Because during Hordika, it's like
It's
you
kind
have
of
way
like
bigger
this,
issues.
yeah.
like this out of sight, out of mind sort of scenario. But
Yeah.
that's like a really big import. It's like, oh shoot, I left the stove on and left like a week ago. It's been on this whole time. I hope the house isn't burned down.
I hope no Dark Lords have taken it. It is very similar to that. So then they're like, oh, well, let's all go get it. Like, at least take Nokama with you. And Vakama's like, no, I have to do this myself. No reason given, really, right? I can't think of anyone that he gave.
Well, he did give a reason. He was basically like, you guys need to take the Matoran
Oh, yeah,
back.
make sure they're safe.
Make sure they're safe.
But also he says if we don't get the mask, then we'll never make sure the Matoran are safe, because Makuta will have the Mask of Time.
I guess it would be kind of like you don't want to leave the Matoran unguarded.
Correct.
Because the other thing too is it's entirely possible that Makuta is not focused on the Mask of Time, but actually getting back the Matoran.
And I was going to say, well, he should at least take Nokama, because they think it's in the water. Then I'm like, leaving the team without Vakama or Nokama is
That's
the worst
bad.
idea I could think of.
That's really bad.
It's like, okay, Matau, you're in charge.
Oh no.
Matau would be like, let's turn left. No, so that, I guess, that's a fair enough reason. And if Vakama fails, it's like, you only lost one Toa. The
Yeah.
other can take him out,
Let's take it. Theoretically, he could also move quieter and
Good
more
point. He does have the
stealthy.
mask of
The mask of
invisibility.
He should
invisibility.
be the stealthiest.
And he's the
of
one who
them.
made
He's
the
able to
Mask of
move
Time,
on
so
his
like he
own.
knows the most about it.
Yeah.
This is all making more sense that I think about it. I love ad hoc reasoning.
there we go.
So,
Headcanon.
yeah. More like face cannon because it's a mask. Get it? Hilarious. So he dives into the sea from the airship, which I think is a really impressive feat because like that's a long way up. And he's swimming around. He's like, ooh, where'd the Mask of Time go? It could literally be anywhere, right? And it makes it seem like he's only under there for one breath, because it's like before he was about to go for air, he saw a weird wave radiating.
No, that's not true,
right?
actually.
No, yeah,
in the
it
book
mentions
it says
how
he's on his third breath when he even sees it.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
yeah.
So 3 times diving under the water? Some insane lung
He can
capacity or
hold
some
his breath
insane
for a
luck?
long
I mean, he
time.
knew where it was generally.
Yeah, but he even said like the current could have
the current
taken it,
could
or
have
it could have been
taken it, yeah.
buried or
Yeah.
whatever. Which I do like that they acknowledge, because like there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
Convenience.
Yeah, this is just like the first recourse. But he does actually find it, which is cool.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, he only finds it because
Yeah.
he sees weird stuff. He sees these like time ripples emanating out from this location where the fish are like being frozen in stasis, and then like they swim on for
Yeah,
they
and
get
then
frozen
like
for a
the
little while. and
seaweed
they
is
swim
growing
on.
and then dying
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
growing and
Uh-huh.
then dying.
I was like, that's a really cool thing.
I thought it would have been really cool because they mentioned there being like Rahi corpses down there. Would have been really cool if like one of them like came back to life or something.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
They're saving that for the Mari stories. So he goes over and he's like, how is this thing still working? Because he sees it has a crack in it, and that's what's causing it to do stuff. Because he's like, normally even the tiniest crack causes a mask to be like mostly non-functional.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, that's really interesting, because that just goes to show how precise mask makers have to be. It's like any error, donezo.
Well, it's also kind of cool because it's the canon explanation for the orange Vahi. That's its damaged version.
No,
That's because it's in the seawater.
That's the
Or-
seawater
seawater
version. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. But anyway, that either way, there is a canon explanation for the orange Vahi that comes with some of the Vaki sets.
So then he's like, okay, I gotta grab the mask, but if I get hit by one of these time ripples, I'm probably gonna die. So what he does is really cool. It says he concentrates a beam of fire that is thinner than anything he's ever made before, and takes more concentration that he's ever done before. And if you know what he's done before this, that's actually insane. And so he micro welds the crack on the Mask of Time to stop it from leaking out the
From
time
a
energy.
distance,
Yeah,
because
From
he
a
can't-
distance in a couple of seconds.
Underwater.
Underwater.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really does show how far he came from that scared Matoran that was just an absolute disaster of a Toa, and he comes something like this, something more focused.
That's why I was saying,
I
I was talking earlier, I'm like, Vakama has the highest competency ceiling. Like, he's done some of the craziest feats Toa have done, period.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's really exemplified later in the story too. Like the juxtaposition before, like with his non-competent Matoran form, and then his very confident but not overly confident
Yeah.
at this point.
He's now balanced.
He's now balanced because he's been knocked back down
Yeah.
a peg, right? But he's still a confident Toa. And so it's like, we'll get to it, but you'll see that difference as he's kind of struggling with it again. But he's like, no, I am
Yeah.
a Toa.
This book definitely serves to solidify, like, Vakama has learned his lessons, okay,
Yeah.
guys? Like, he's on it now. Which makes it sad that he'll soon become a Turaga, because, like, we could head this Vakama for, like, 10,000 more years.
But it does make you feel a lot more comfortable knowing that, oh, he's actually a competent Toa now. So, because before, if you look at the Metru and the Hordika version, you're like, why is this guy bossing around Tahu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I know you don't respect
yeah.
up until
Because you're like, Turaga Vakama, what have you done? Then you see this, you're like, oh, maybe he has
yeah,
some
okay,
sense.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say something that's interesting in retrospect about this book is that this is where Vakama really does hit his stride, where it's like he's a really, really good character and a very competent Toa, and he doesn't have those kind of flaws that we see throughout the rest of the story. And this is the one story he chooses not to tell them. Like, this is all framed through his memory. So, like, all the other books are him telling the Nuva the stories of the Metru. This is the one book where he's just remembering it on the journey back to Mata Nui. He doesn't tell anybody the story as far as we know. And so it's like, that's also really speaks to his character, where he's like, he's been humbled and he stays humble. So like, this should be one of the stories he should tell, because it is one of his more triumphant stories, right? And he doesn't share it because it's not necessary to share it, and it would feel kind of like gloating, I think. And so he refrains from doing so, which is kind of a cool.
Yeah,
you can also look at it.
Definitely learns a lot of humility over
the
course of his existence as a Toa.
He's a character that's been humbled so much, whereas Onua needed a little more humbling.
So yeah, basically he gets the mask and then he is trying to get air. He's like, I need to go get air, and then he sees this like water spout just like coming up underneath him, and he's trying to swim up to the surface, and he's like panicking, right? And so he puts the mask on, and he's like,
the mask of time, sorry.
over his normal mask. Yeah, exactly. And he's like, I need to do this to buy me some time, but it's not enough. He puts it on and he tries to activate it, but he can't concentrate because he's freaking out, right? Yeah. And so then the water spout like shoots him up out of the water, and like he slams into the side of the
Great Barrier.
The Great Barrier, yeah. And falls, or no, he's hanging on, I think, at that point. And a being just walks up and rips the Vahi off his face, off his mask, and just lets him topple into the ocean. And it walks away. And
because Vakama, he was sitting there thinking like, oh, I should use my elemental powers or something to stop him, but he's like, I'm barely holding on.
Yeah, he was like, they make a point of him being super dazed. Like, obviously, he just got launched however many feet into the air, into the wall.
Yeah. I'm surprised he was able to like hold on.
Yeah. So they do frame it like that is all he can do. Is like that takes his maximum concentration. Anyway, so then he falls into the water and passes out, and he's pretty much sure he's going to die.
Dude, I remember reading this because I hadn't read Time Trap in a long time. I got to this part, I'm like, did Vakama die? Like, how's he getting out of this?
I was just confused where the water spout came from. Like, it's just like a random water spout that appears out of nowhere.
I have no clue.
Deus Ex Machina.
That is a good question.
I assumed it was from some sort of Rahi, or I think you could also argue, well, without spoiling it, but another character could have caused it.
That was my interpretation, is that unsaid other character caused it, and he just wasn't aware of where Vakama, like, he wasn't aware that Vakama had the Mask of Time in his possession when he created the water spout, and so then he wasn't aware that the other being who stole it, right? So if I had to rationalize it, he thought he was just knocking Vakama out, like taking him out of the game, but inadvertently put the Mask of Time into the hands of someone else.
That's kind of what I think too.
So yeah, then Vakama passes out, as we said, and when he wakes up and he's like, I know this place. And he's like, but it shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So he wakes up and he's like, hey, where's my Toa armor? And where's my mask? And then he's like, why am I on, laying on this bed or sleeping pallet? Because beds are non-canon.
Yeah, beds are non-canon. I go to my sleeping pallet and through my archways.
Which is actually funny because beds are then later mentioned in this book. But,
maybe pallet. They had beds. He was just on a sleeping pallet.
Yeah, it could be.
There is a difference.
Yeah, he's poor.
He's the most skilled mask maker in Metru Nui. He's like, I can't even afford a real bed. The economy's rough.
I mean, they don't get paid for their work.
Maybe sleeping pallets are the thing.
Yeah.
It's like a minimalist aesthetic. He's very zen.
Yeah, Vakama.
It's because you're suffering for the sake of Mata Nui. See? So having a comfortable bed is like...
And all the Matoran smuggling rings are trying to get like heretical luxuries like pillows and blankets.
I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Vakama wakes up and he's like, oh shoot. And he's like, I'm a Matoran again. And then he's like, oh, and the whole time you're just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And
you're like, because I was thinking, I'm like, did the Mask of Time like send him back? Is he having another vision? Like, what the heck is going on?
Isn't that what he thinks is going on.
That's
though.
what he thinks is happening.
Yeah.
Is,
Yeah,
like,
he thinks the Mask of Time
sent
is-
him
But
in-
I thought about it
sent him
before
back
he
in
said
time.
that. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The funny
Anyway,
thing
yeah.
is, at this point, because I knew the ultimate end of this book based off of what we had talked about in the past, I was like, I know what's happening. Like, it, to me, it had nothing to do with the Mask of Time. And so I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I was like, okay, when's it coming? When's it coming? And yeah, so I don't know. It was just,
Which also
it
leads-
never, like, I was just waiting. I was using the information, but I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
I was like, so it wasn't a shock.
Yeah, this whole situation leads to some truly comedic elements if you really like zoom out and look at it from an outside perspective. But anyway, so he wakes up and Jala is yelling at him and he's like, "You got to get to work, bruh." And he's like, "What do you mean work?" He's like, "You got to get to work. You know the thing that Takua never does?"
get wrecked.
I think that is almost verbatim what the book says.
Takua's just catching strays. Like, he's not
I
even
know.
there.
He's not even. He doesn't even make an appearance in the book.
I know. Just this specter lurking in the background.
We love Takua.
Yeah.
Takua got his time to shine.
Literally.
Ah.
No, but Vakama's like, "What? I'm so confused." But he plays it off, you know, and he's like, "Okay."
He plays it cool.
Yeah. So Jala's like, "Yeah, get to work." And Vakama's like, "Okay." And so he goes off, forges.
Well, first he learns, no, he doesn't go off to the forges because he doesn't want to. He tells Jala, "I'm not going to work. I don't feel well enough to go to work."
Oh yeah.
But then Jala mentions something about the Toa. And he's
right.
I think he says the Toa are gathering at the Coliseum to discuss what they're going to do
Because he mentions
about the Morbazak. Yeah.
He mentions the Morbazak first.
Yeah.
And then Vakama's like, "Wait, the Morbazak is a thing?" And then Jala's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, the Toa and Doom and the Toa are talking about it, right? You know, talking about how to defeat it right now." And Lee Khan. I think he also name drops Lee Khan too.
Oh, yeah, he does. He says Turaga Likon
Yeah.
because that's
Oh, yeah.
it comes up later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
And then Vakama's like, "Wait, who's the Toa of Fire?"
And
And he's like, "Nuri."
Nuri, of course.
And Vakama's like, you know, does like the dolly
The
shot.
dolly zoom.
The
Yeah.
dolly zoom.
What? I love that moment because
Yeah.
it's just like, what is going on? It is weird though that like soon after this, it cuts to the Shadowed One, right?
Yeah.
In presumably the real world. So you're like, Vakama's somewhere, right? And then it's just like a concrete. It's like, okay, I'm back in the real universe. So like, not everything's totally messed up.
Which I actually like because it makes you feel a little less disoriented.
Well, and it also shows you it may not be a Vaki thing because if it's a Vaki thing, it may have affected all time.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Vahi.
Vahi, yeah. But one cool thing about going to the Shadowed One perspective is we get his perspective, and I think he's just like an interesting character, right? He's like evil, schemy. Has the little recorder guy
Yeah.
who's like writes down everything he says.
Which I was kind of keeping track as I was going through the books, or as I was going through the book, which characters are straight from the mind of Greg, which ones are. I had to come up with a backstory for this because some idiot at the design team made a combiner model. And it's about 50-50 in this book.
Yeah. It's like, gotta get on all the rest of them before the wave ends.
But the Shadowed One himself is a combiner model. The Shadowed One. He is a... Hold on, I wrote it down. 1 second. Cut this part out, please. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Hordika and Kitongu. Combiner.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I think he looks really
He
cool.
looks really cool, yeah.
I like him. So, but he's like, "Oh man, I heard Nadiki and Kreka are dead." And he's like, "And that is unforgivable. I didn't even like those guys. But killing one Dark Hunter is bad enough. Killing two, I'm not standing for that at all."
Right. Well, and it's more like people who take out Dark Hunters are like putting themselves in danger
At
because
this-
they know that there's going to be retaliation.
Yeah.
At this point, he doesn't know Nadiki and Kreka are actually dead. He suspects it, right?
Yeah,
because he's like, I haven't heard from them.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from Makuta.
Yeah.
Like, there's no communication here.
Yeah. It's like something fishy's going on.
Yeah.
So, but then he goes and he talks to Lariska. And Lariska's just in the training room
cutting things up.
Craziest flips of all time. Like it says she jumps from a standing start into the rafters of the building. It's like, what the heck? That's like a 50-foot vertical leap.
Yeah. Real quick though, before we get into Lariska, before he does that, he does tell his little recorder that's either a Rahi or some sort of intelligent creature, it's very unclear, to go tell Sentrak to get ready to go, because he's gonna go to Metru Nui personally.
Yeah,
him and Sentrak are gonna go to Metru Nui personally, and Sentrak is just a Dark Hunter, kind of.
He's like the personal guard of the Shadow One. Yeah. So yeah, they go. Then they talk to Lariska, and he leaves her in charge of the Dark Hunters, which is like, wow, I didn't know she was that high up in the organization.
And by the way, if you wanted to know, Sentrak is a combiner model, but Lariska is just completely out of Greg's brain.
Yep.
I wonder if Lariska is actually particularly high up, or if it's just because she's so skilled. Because that's kind of the implication, is like, she is the
she
one
may be
that
high up because she is skilled.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's explicitly stated what her rank is, or like how she's actually
She's a
ordered.
lieutenant. It says that.
It's kind of unclear exactly where she stands in the...
Well, it's unclear what the hierarchy of the Dark Hunters is. It seems to be the Shadowed One at the top and everyone else just kind of on an even playing field that scales with how much he likes you.
No, Ancient is also way up there.
Yeah, Ancient's up there, but we don't talk to him.
Anyway, but actually I think, like, it reminds me of... in Star Wars, the older Sith. It's kind of like that format where it's like there's not really necessarily a hierarchy per se. It's just a bunch of people that are trying to backstab each other at all times.
Yeah.
And it's like, it works because, you know, if you are the best at not getting backstabbed,
you win.
You win. You're in charge.
And those are all the people that would love to be in a backstabbing game, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
Yeah. So, anyway, so then he gets Sentrak and they leave on a boat towards Metru Nui.
Right, and he tells Lariska, stay here and keep everybody in line.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, but let me try to kill you a couple times first.
Yeah, just to check. And it does make note of that the Shadowed One is like insanely skilled and fast. Because like Lariska tries to kill him and he just like speed blitzes her and knocks her out. And it's like, oh wow, goated.
Yeah, it definitely appears as though he has like some sort of like insane reflexes.
Yeah.
So we go back to Vakama and he's like, I need to find someone. This person will definitely know, you know, what's going on. And so he goes to Toa Metru.
Ooh.
And he basically walks up to a knowledge tower. He's like, I need to get in here. And the guards are like, no, you can't get in here. And he's like, I have a part to the telescope that Nuju is using, and it will make it 10 times more powerful. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, in that case, come on in.
10 times?
I think that's literally what it says.
I know. It literally does say that,
it's crazy that they bought it.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, the book says too that they're so impressed that they don't even
ask to see it. They're just like, yeah, sure, go
like,
on.
Bro, yeah, get it as fast as
possible. It was cracking me up because it said they weren't going to let him up there under any circumstances. And then it's like, actually, apparently there is at least one circumstance.
Yeah.
So in real life, it's like you carry a ladder into an area and they just let you in.
Yeah, exactly.
In Bionicle, you carry a piece of glass.
Yep.
And then you're good to go.
Yep.
But so he goes up to talk to Nuju, and they have a conversation, but basically Nuju's like, you're cracked, you've lost your mind. Mm-hmm. And so shockingly, you know, he doesn't believe him.
I just think it's funny how he goes to Nuju, which is progressively the least helpful.
Well, the reason he went to Nuju is because he was actually looking for information about the Vahi. Mm-hmm. And so he figured Nuju would have the most knowledge about it. Yeah,
well,
it is
crazy
a fair
too,
one.
because
Nuju's the least likely to give you that knowledge.
That's true.
Yeah. He's just going to hold on to it.
Yeah, and he doesn't even know if he's made the Vahi yet. Like in this
because everyone knows that Vakama's trying to make the Vahi. Right. So he goes to Nuju under the pretense of like, hey, Nuju.
I made it, yeah.
Yeah, I made it. What's it do?
Yeah.
I can't test it. I'm just a humble Matoran. Yep. But hypothetically.
Yeah. So after, like, I can't remember if it's right after that conversation or during it, he, like, it cuts really quickly. Like he catches a glimpse of like the destroyed knowledge tower and sees himself as a Toa again, and then it cuts back to him being a Matoran.
And if I remember right, it's kind of framed as how like he gets his visions, as like a Toa and Matoran, but as we'll see, it may be something else.
I think it really is.
Is
it's
it?
More,
or is it just
more
like
I think it's more like a glitch, like
a glitch. Yeah, like it just and then
if that's the case.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about this part. Then the key rock breaks through
because he's asking all these questions to Nuju. Nuju's like, I gotta get back to work. Okay, I gotta get back to work.
Yeah, and so the key rock come in and they're go to grab Nuju. He's like, no, I'm working. I swear, was distracting. He's like, I was working. And the funniest part to me is they totally just let Vakama. Like Vakama runs away, but like they don't even try to.
They all heard that
him.
It's gonna make the scope 10 times more powerful.
Yeah, that's right.
This guy's in the right. This guy's cool.
I also think it's funny that there's so many things that Vakama's like, this isn't right, but the Vaki breaking in after a guy takes a break for 2 seconds, he's like, nope, that's normal. Yep. Perfectly fine.
Yeah. Which probably is accurate.
I know, that's what's just funny. Like the Vaki, every bit of information you get, you're like, these guys are the worst.
Guys suck.
Yeah.
So after his discussion with Nuju completely failed to yield the information he needs, he decides to go to Nokama. So he goes into God Metru and he finds Nokama being reprimanded by Toa Vizola, who is being a big old jerk to Nokama.
For unclear reasons.
Yeah. No, they explain. Because Nokama then... When Vakama walks up and talks to her, she's explaining why she is getting in trouble. And it's basically like there was a law passed, or a rule, I think they say law, but a law passed that you're not allowed to do any experiments with it without it getting cleared by the Toa or Turaga Duma first. And so she was working on trying to recreate energized protodermis on her own, though. And so then Vizola found out about it and gave her a stern talking to.
Right, and they're like, we don't want any Matoran experimenting with energized protodermis because we might have more Toa on our hands.
Yeah, basically the law was put into effect to make sure that
no more Toa get made.
It's not only experimenting, but they mention exploring as well. Like Onua goes to explore a cave and then gets caught by Toa Akmu. Yes, you heard that right.
Dude, reading that phrase, I was like, no, I hate that.
Yeah, and so then he gets brought to a place, and then when he returns, he's very obedient and not himself anymore, and so they're very afraid of breaking this rule. But the rule was in effect to make sure that no one becomes Toa, besides the existing six Toa. And it's wow, that's really messed up.
Well, I guess if you think about the type of Toa they were, in reality, you wouldn't want Akmu to be a Toa. So it makes sense. But also in this scenario, it's completely different because it's no, we don't want certain people to have power. We want other people to have the power instead.
Yeah, exactly. They're hoarding the power for themselves rather than keeping the power from the incompetent fools, right?
Ones, yeah.
Yeah, that is a good point.
So Vakama is okay, well, what do you have any information on the Vahi? Nuju was no help, right? She's like, well, there might be some information in the Great Temple. We can go check it out, right? And he's like, okay, great. We're going to go get Wenua and Matau, then we'll go. And Nokama's like, what kind of sick joke is this?
Funny, or, yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, Matau died in a shoot accident a few months ago.
Caused by the Morbizak.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it was saying Lee Metru's almost been entirely taken over by the Morbizak.
And he's like, dolly zoom.
Yeah. That part actually made me sad. I'm like, I didn't want Matau to die.
I know, that did make me sad too.
Vakama's like, dang it, I wish he was a Nua.
This close, I was this close.
One thing that I did think was really interesting, and just a little side note to mention, when they're talking about the different Toa, it's kind of interesting because the sets, the Matoran sets from 2004 wave all use the Turaga masks. And so canonically, they all have the same masks as the Toa Metru, as their Toa versions, but they're different. They're mixed up. So like Vizola has the Mask of Illusion.
Oh yeah, I did like that.
Which is super interesting.
Oh, that makes way more sense, because I was wondering why they chose, like, because I was like, well, the Mask of Illusion is Matau's. Why are they switching it up? But now that you say that, since they were physical models, and they did have those masks.
They did have those.
Yeah, I really like that detail.
That's a really good catch.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, that's so interesting that they did that. And I was like, why did they do that? And then I put those same pieces together. Yeah,
that's smart.
So it'd be kind of weird to see like all the Toa Metru, but with different mask powers.
Yeah.
Different masks, you know.
Yeah. So then Vakama and No Kama go to the Great Temple, right?
I don't know why. Why do they not even try to find Whenua?
Whenua's heckin' useless.
Yeah.
When you try to find
He
Whenua,
doesn't even have his mask of night vision.
Yeah,
So he's
like,
literally
but Vakama
useless.
mentions him. He's like, we're going to go try to find him. And Nokama's like, Matau's dead. And then he's like, okay, well then I guess we're going by ourselves.
Yeah.
They don't even try to find him.
Again, because he's just this nothing burger of nothingness.
It's true.
It could also be like he
They
has
just
this,
forgot
like,
he existed.
his knee, or he's feeling the weight of like, we
The
just need to
urgency.
get this
He's like,
done.
go,
yeah.
go, go, go.
Like,
I think
you know
that's
what?
true.
We just gotta solve this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they go to the Great Temple.
Yeah. So they are outside the Great Temple, but there are guards, and they're like, well, we can't get in that way. They'll catch us. That's what No Kama says. And Vakama's like, don't worry, I've got this. And he remembers an entrance that he used during his Hordika emo goth phase, where he snuck into the Great Temple to attack the Rahaga. And so he's like, we can take that entrance.
I did like
and
that.
that was a pretty smart like way to get around it. And so that's what they do. They get into this like sewer pipe essentially, right? And manage to work their way into the Great Temple, and then they get out and they go looking for information on the Vahi. And as they're looking through, is it scrolls or books or tablets?
There's no paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I couldn't remember what the terminology was. As they're looking through the tablets, Vakama sees one where he's like, this creature, that's the creature that stole the Vahi from me. Like that's the one that ripped it off of my face. And it's called Voporak. And he's like, I'll log that one away.
He's like, what is that? Some sort of Vizorak? Huh?
Is that what he says?
No.
Oh, okay.
It'd just be funny because they have the same like name scheming. So he figures out that Voporak, this being, stole the Vahi in the real timeline.
Yeah.
Right.
And does it say at that point, do you learn about Voporak's like the fact that he was created to sense the Vahi?
Yes. That's when they mention it, because they find it in the tablets. And also one kind of cool detail about the tablets is they mentioned that before they closed off all the entrances to Metru Nui, these were like a major trading item.
Yeah.
So that's where all these tablets came from, other islands, and they would trade for resources.
Yeah. And I also think it's cool that like there were so many legends about the Mask of Time before it's made, because prophecy is one of the main ways they get information in this universe. So it's like, oh yeah, all these tablets would know about the Mask of Time, and it makes sense if this is common knowledge. The Dark Hunters would be like, yeah, let's make a guy who can figure out where the Mask of Time is.
The sheer amount of just knowledge in Metru Nui must be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's cool too because it kind of really puts everything into perspective, where it's like you have the knowledge towers, which literally, like, they have the luxury of 24/7 just being like working on trying to identify prophecies, and
by thread of Kirak.
Right.
True.
But like, I think it's really cool that they can do that. And the Matoran, literally their whole job is to just study and learn and like translate tablets and all kinds of stuff,
No, and it's cool because I want to do a video on this eventually, but the information crisis of Bionicle, because like, why is there so much stuff in Metru Nui about just information? I'm like, there are almost no ways to get or communicate information in Bionicle. It's talking to people face to face, it is carved tablets, which take a heck of a long time and a lot of space, or it is knowledge crystals, which as we know, or as far as I know, are exclusively on Metru Nui.
Right.
So it's like Metru Nui has like the best way to gain and retain knowledge in the entire universe.
Totally.
And so no wonder they're so dedicated to it.
And they probably also have basically all the knowledge. Like, I would assume like 99% of all prophecy, all recorded history, everything
I would just have a monopoly on prophecy.
Is in Metru Nui.
Yeah.
And probably that's one of their, I would assume that's also one of their major exports as well. Like, you know, you bring a tablet that you can't translate and, you know, we'll send it to the Gamma Torn. They'll give it back to you.
It's like, I'll give you this Vizirac battle ram for a sick tablet about the Mask of Time. It's like a deal.
Cool. I mean, like, it's cool too because we don't ever see Metru Nui in like its prime.
Nope.
And you can imagine just ships constantly just pouring in from other islands and like all kinds of exports going on. You know, you got masks being exported. You have discs being exported. You have vehicles being exported.
I mean, it was so popular. The Dark Hunters were like, can we just establish a base here so we can like operate here? It's like, that's insane levels of economic prosperity.
Yeah, I mean, which is, of course...
If you look at all the other settlements in Bionicle, this is very clearly the most developed.
Yeah, it's like the Southern
100%.
Continent's like, we have like 12 people in an uscle cart. Metru Nui, it's like, yeah, we got like self-heating islands. I
think the only other ones that would be like remotely close would be like...
It'd be like...
Maybe Zia.
Zia is probably the closest technologically. Stealth's pretty advanced as well, but those are like the two major players.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, it's not even remotely close to what Metru Nui has going on.
No, it's really cool, and I want to get more into it, but this is about time trap, everybody.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I took us on a side tangent. I just thought it was interesting.
Label that as Boxor, Samuel.
Also, real quick, I did want to mention something that was interesting because we forgot to mention it. The Shadowed one is like, the reason he wants to go to Metru Nui is he's like, those darn Toa, they're probably the ones who killed, you know, Nadiki and Kreka. And so he immediately blames it on the Toa.
Yeah, he does.
Because Toa kill a lot of Dark Hunters. Or at least
this is also a fun
plans.
fact. The first time a Toa of Gravity is ever mentioned. As far as I can tell.
I know. Yeah.
Because the Shadowed one talks about them killing a...
Well, he talks with Lariska, and Lariska's like, I just killed a Toa of Gravity.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay. Interesting.
Yep. The Dark Hunters kill a lot of
How
Toa.
do you lose with gravity?
Well, because
she actually explains it.
How she does
so
it.
he's like, I find it hard to believe in 2 weeks that you killed a Toa that experienced. And she's like, well, here's what I did. I watched him for 2 weeks, saw what his normal plan of attack was. Normally, if someone attacks him, he dodges the first strike, then just makes him float in the air. So she's like, I practiced with levitation discs to get used to the zero-G environment. So when he lifted me up in the air, I was ready and could take him out. Her literal word was, he wasn't ready for me being ready.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, that's a cool way to do it. And it also shows how quick combat in Bionicle is. It's like, if you do get one hit off, you win.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought we should mention that because it's kind of an interesting little tidbit. So we know for the first time ever that there are other types of Toa besides just main 6 elements.
Which if you just read the main books, you'd be like, what the heck? Where are the sets of the Gravity Toa?
Yeah.
So, but then the Shadowed One and Sentrak arrive by boat into Metru Nui, and they are spying on Vakama and Nokama. But it says they're spying on Vakama and the Blue Bean.
No, they don't say.
No,
they don't say that yet.
They
That's
say
later.
his companion.
And his companion.
Yeah, it says that Sentrak, it just says Sentrak was, if he was surprised by the identity of Vakama's companion, he did not show it.
Yeah.
So they don't specify who Vakama's companion is.
Yeah.
So Vakama and Nokama go into a cave in Po Metru. So they have gone from Ga Metru into Po Metru. And this is also kind of a real cool thing where it kind of just explains the gradual shifting of the landscape and the terrain, which I just thought that was kind of neat. Get a visual picture of that.
Yeah.
But they get into this cave in Po Metru, and Nokama's basically like, "Why? What the heck are you doing? Like, why are we in this cave?" Vakama's like, "Trust me, bro." And then they get attacked by the Morbazak, or at least, it appears to be the Morbazak.
Yes.
And Nokama tackles its tentacle somehow, and it retracts and lets go of Vakama. And he's like, how the heck did she do that?
It's like, what, Matoran Nokama is like 1v1ing the Morbazak.
And he's like kind of impressed, low-key, and she's like, no big deal. So they go into the cave. Vakama finds, he's like running his hand across the wall to like find some specific thing. then he finds these indentations and he presses it, and this door opens, and as soon as it does, something jumps out and attaches itself to his face.
It's a face hugger.
Yep. And we later find out
version.
that it is a Kratana, which is a...
The thing that jumped on Onua's head in Voyage of Fear,
Right.
or Maze of Shadows.
It's a Krana and a Krata combined.
Yeah.
And it's freaky.
Horrible.
But it gives Vakama this vision of a Toa named Toa Krakua, who is gray and describes himself as a Toa from the future.
Mm-hmm.
Context clues tell us that he is a Toa of Sonics, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Another secondary element introduced.
Yep. And he warns that 6 Toa heroes will enter the darkest place imaginable and be tried by lightning.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
But that's only going to happen if Vakama is able to accomplish his destiny.
Yeah.
And so...
And you may think, oh, well, is he going to give Vakama any useful advice to get out of this?
Vakama straight up says that.
Yeah.
He's like, are you going to give me any useful advice? And the dude's like, no.
Yeah.
Well,
Because before he can say anything more, the Kratana gets blown off Vakama's face.
Right.
Actually, can I just read this exchange? Because
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Sure.
I think the wording is important, or like the implication is important. So, Krakua is saying, 6 heroes will one day be called upon to make a perilous journey into the darkest place you can imagine. They will brave the lightning, they will walk through the fire, they will stare into the eyes of evil, and if they waver even once, they will die. And you, Vakama, will bear the most terrible burden of all. And then Vakama says, I will have to lead them, and Krakua responds and he says, no, nothing as easy as that. You will have to send them on this quest, knowing they may never return. And knowing you can do nothing for them but wait, hope.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's important because it's like Vakama's, you're already seeing Vakama kind of being taken out of the role of Toa, right? Like it's alluding to he's going to be the Turaga who is going to have to make this decision.
Well, and also fits with his arc, right? Because his arc is like learning humility, right? So it's like he's already learned to be the put upon leader who has to lead someone through crazy trials and temptations. He's done that like 2-3 times. This time he's gonna have to take a backseat role and just watch, and that is way harder, right?
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
And it's also so interesting because it alludes to the fact that he messes that up first time, and we'll get to that. But like when it's kind of cool because it implants this idea in like his head of like, what does that mean? You know, I have to send them. You know, and he does, but he sent. We'll get to it later, but it's just kind of keep that in mind, that kind of prophecy, quote unquote.
And I also think it dovetails well with giving the Mask of Time to Tahu, right? Because that's another instance of him saying, I'm out of the fight. I can't do this anymore. I have to give this all-powerful mask I've been saving for a special occasion to the next generation of Toa. And it's like, okay, given that this book is all about the Mask of Time, I think that's a cool thing to include in this book.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Kratana gets blown off his face, and it was Turaga Lee Khan that removed it? That's what it says?
Yeah, correct.
Turaga Lee Khan's like, I'm so glad I found you.
Yeah, that's right.
And Vakama's like, the heck? And he's like, where did you come from? And like, he's like, I was here the whole time.
To be fair, Turaga Lee Khan's natural habitat is dark, lonely caves in Toa Metru.
Right. And Vakama's like, I ain't buying this.
Yeah.
And so he tosses a disc at Nokama, and it just goes right through her.
Yeah, friendly fire, by the way. Nokama's just standing there. He's like, die, foul demon.
Yeah. And immediately the illusion collapses because he stops believing it. And it turns out that Nokama is none other than...
a Barraki.
A Barraki. So this whole time... This is hilarious to imagine, like watching from a distance. And the Shadowed One and Sentrak must have been like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Because if you're looking at it from a distance, Vakama has now traveled basically all over Mata Nui.
Yeah.
Talking to a Bogarak and like fighting all this random stuff. And there's just been this Vizorak hanging out with him this whole time.
Yeah, from the Shadowed One perspective, he's like, this one guy who killed 2 of my best Dark Hunters. First of all, Toa willing to like kill or permanently incapacitate is walking around the destroyed city of Metru Nui with a Visorak. Like, what the heck happened here? No wonder he didn't try to ambush him, because it's like, I don't know what's going
He's
on.
like, I need to see this play out. He's like, I need to know.
Yeah. He's just been having this one-sided conversation with it the entire time, and I just think that's hilarious.
It's like watching the beginning, how I would imagine. It's like watching the beginning of a soap opera, and then like skipping the first like 10 seasons and coming on in season 11 and just being like, how did they get here? Right? He's like, I thought I knew the elements of this story, but clearly not.
Yeah, so it turns out Nokama's a Bagarak and Taragali Khan is actually Pterodax.
Yeah, so
Makuta
basically it says
Pterodax.
like once he throws the disc, the vision breaks, right? The illusion breaks, and so then he's seeing the world as it really is, and he's like, wow, surprise, I am a Toa. I still am. I've been on this whole time.
And so Makuta is like, where's the Vahi? And
he's like, I did this whole thing so you tell me where the mask is, right?
And he's basically like, this time I thought I'd just try trickery rather than like sheer force. And Vakama's like, well, it kind of almost worked, but I don't have it. And then he's like, what's his face? Voparak took it. And then Makuta's like, yeah! And then he like blasts him with a shadow bolt and knocks him out.
Yeah.
Vakama gets knocked out in this book so many times. Poor guy.
It is actually very unfortunate.
I know, it's kind of sad.
Well, then it's funny because he wakes up and he's like mad.
Yeah, Vakama's like, I'm gonna get this boo.
So after Vakama gets knocked out by Makuta, Voparak delivers the Vahi to the Shadowed One.
Who they're still watching. They followed
this whole time,
them.
they've been on a cliff, like watching this whole thing.
Yeah. And so they watched Makuta and Vakama and the Bograk go into the cave in Toa Metru.
A Makuta, a Toa, and a Visorak
all
walk into a cave.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then the Shadowed One is basically, I forget exactly what he says, but he leaves Voparak there to watch over them while him and Sentrak go. They leave.
I think they just go back to the boat.
Yeah, they leave.
Like,
for
they got
some
the
reason.
mask.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, Voparak, stay here. And Voparak's like, okay.
Yeah. So then back in the cave.
Now back in the cave, Vakama has woken up, and Makuta's like dragging him by the leg. And Vakama's like, I am mad now. So it literally says he heats up his leg to thousands of degrees.
Enough to scorch
insane.
Makuta's hand, which, mind you, is made of the strongest material in the Matoran universe.
Right. And Makuta's like, ow! And he drops him.
I want to mention really quickly that they are trapped in the cave because when the Shadowed One's like, let's get out of here, Sentrak shoots a Rotuka spinner at the mouth of the cave and it collapses it. And so Makuta and Vakama are trapped in, well, so is the Bograk-ish. They're trapped in the cave, and so they're just duking it out and having this little lover's quarrel.
What's cool is Makuta's like, I could have broken out, but I didn't want to expend that much energy, so I'm just walking through this cave.
Right.
While dragging your unconscious body.
And Vakama's like, what the heck is wrong with you? And Makuta's like, look, I don't like it any more than you do, but we both want the mask. And he's like, so let's work together to get it. Then if you want to fight to the death after we get it, by all means, I will do that for you.
He's like, I'm more than ready.
I will then kill you at that point.
Yeah.
And
it's also funny, though,
like,
because it shows what a threat the Shadowed One is. Like, Makuta's like, I need to get Vakama's help to go get this. It's like, I don't think he's totally sure he's going to win this fight.
And the Shadowed One completely lives up to it.
The Shadowed One is 100%. Very well hyped.
Yeah, so Vakama is like, I don't like it, but there's not really any other option. And so they get to the mouth of the cave. And Makuta like tries to do this like big show of strength where he's like lifting up the slab and it's like, ah, and then Vakama just melts.
Yeah.
It's so funny because Makuta's like, I guess you have your uses after all.
Yeah. Because it's just like a big old slab to the end of the cave, and he's just like, yeah.
Right.
Feels like we've watched this movie before.
Makuta lifting up a giant...
big old...
yeah.
Makuta indoors, name a more iconic duo.
So they get out of the cave, and they see Voparak. Makuda's like, we're not going to be able to like get past him because so what ends up happening is they find out that Voparak has these time powers.
Yes.
So anything that
because the Bogarak tries to attack Voparak.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so hard.
the Bogarak gets out first and it goes to attack Voparak, but
And
it's
it just
disintegrated into
disintegrates.
dust.
Yeah.
And so then Vakama's
just
like,
from being near Voparak.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Vakama's like, I got this. And he blasts Voparak with a giant, like, just wall of flame, basically. It says he tries everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Voparak's just standing there watching him.
literally, it's not moving at all.
Yeah. And they're just like shooting random junk at Voparak.
It didn't even notice when Vakama shot at it.
Yeah. It's all just being like disintegrated by the time barrier around it.
And Makuda like tries to blast it and nothing happens.
Makuda tries to throw a boulder at it.
Oh yeah,
actually.
Makuda throws a boulder at it.
Because they
that's
really
right.
play up Makuda's physical strength in
Yeah.
this book.
Yeah.
Like he's really strong.
And so, and nothing is working. And they're like,
Yeah.
we're not going to be able to get past this guy. And Makuda's like, I have an idea.
yeah.
And he's like, behold, the sons of Makuta. And then this horde of Rakshi
Tidal wave of
just
Rakshi.
pour out of really
Nowhere.
unclear.
It literally says it's like thousands.
It says there were
Thousands of
hundreds of them in
Hundreds of them.
dozens of different colors.
Yeah.
Right. Which implies every variation of Rakshi, basically.
Also, Makuda was just keeping them for a rainy day.
Right.
It's like, why did you not break these guys out before?
Well, and Vakama asks that. He's like, why even bother with like the Vaki stuff if you have all the Rakshi? And I don't even remember, what does Makuda say to that?
My guess is he didn't want the city destroyed.
That's exactly what it is. So Vakama says if you controlled this kind of army, why resort to trickery to capture the Matoran? And Makuda's like, he's like, why not unleash them on the city? And Makuda says, if I had, there would have been no city left to rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fair. They would have pulled a Takoro on it.
You can't really control the Rakshi. Like, they're kind of like a force of nature that's like unleashing them.
No, like under Makuda's direct control on Mata Nui, with like the most intelligent Prada he could have, they still blew up all of Takoro.
Right.
It's like, yeah, that's a level of control. That's kind of crazy.
So anyway, but what he does is he basically just directs them all at Voparak, and they just start throwing themselves at him.
Literally
like,
throwing themselves at him.
And they're just dying, and Krata are just like screaming and dying.
Yeah, as they
because their life force, it says their life force gets sped up and like completed in seconds.
Yeah, because it's a time barrier. It's just aging everything to dust.
Right. And so Vakama's like, this is like evil. And Makuda's like, yeah.
Who do you think I am?
I don't know what you expected.
I know. But also,
and they also have this whole thing about like, Vakama's like, oh, why'd you send that Bogarak death? And like Vizorak, that's their whole purpose,
he's like,
is
I
to
don't
die.
care.
They just like serve whatever more powerful being there is. He specifically says they serve whatever they can't destroy.
yeah,
I'm like,
which is a cool line.
That is cool. And so he like just it continually shows that Makuda just doesn't care about life at all. Like he only cares about what's valuable to him.
Yeah.
So anyway, Makuda and Vakama go to the Great Temple together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they then they split up at that point because Makuda's like, you go stand guard, watch for the Shadowed One and Sentrak coming, and I'll be down here and waiting for them. Vakama does that.
Before that, though, they
Begrudgingly.
have a discussion where he's talking to Vakama basically like, oh, you feel inadequate or like you weren't meant to be chosen. And he's like, and Makuda like asks him, he's like, why are you a Toa? Because Vakama asks why, and Makuda says, why are you a Toa? Like in response, and he's like, I didn't read your mind, Vakama. It is too quick a read, which, ouch.
Brutal.
Makuda gets some sick burns
Yes,
in this
he
book.
does.
Yeah, he's like, I looked into the stars and saw the names of 6 Matoran destined by Mata Nui to be Toa. Nuri, Akmu, Vizola, Tahuti, Orcam, and Arye. He's like, not a particularly heroic group, but weak-willed enough that they could have been molded by a strong leader like Toa Lakan. So this is where you
they're
get
still
the
under the
final explanation, or the beginning of the final explanation that, they're under the impression that
Makuda still chose them to be Toa because they're garbage at their jobs.
And so, because he, in this After he says that, he continues and he says, so I chose the 6 most argumentative, strong-willed, stubborn Matoran I could think of and planted their names in Lee Khan's mind.
Which is crazy because it means Akmu is less argumentative than Onua.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
I think so.
He's a bit of a sleazeball.
Yeah,
but he's not.
He doesn't seem. He's not confrontational.
Yeah.
He's slimy and sneaky.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The other, I mean, you very clearly see in the beginning of the comics when they're searching for each of Matoran's great disc.
The Vakamics.
Yeah. Did I say it?
No.
Okay. I thought I had a brain heart attack or something.
Brain heart attack.
Yeah, like my brain stopped working, and I was like, "Wait a minute."
A brain fart, you mean?
No. I was like, I could feel the pain of my brain trying to
Isn't that called
restart.
an aneurysm?
Phantom pain.
It's a reboot.
Yeah, I just had to like press the restart button or something. No, but the Matoran are all like super sketch. Like they're all cowards and they're or jealous or hateful in their own ways. And so Makuda's like, yeah, I can use that. And then he makes Lee Khan pick what might have been the worst Toa team.
Although,
except
go ahead.
Except they actually turned out to be pretty good in the end.
One funny thing though, that's a pretty good showing for Lee Matoran if that is the worst Lay Matoran they could find. Like Matau, he's pretty okay.
Yeah,
he's good.
But he is still incredibly stubborn and strong-willed, which all of them are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
they're
didn't
all
necessarily
very-
like something to point out is he didn't say the least competent or the stupidest. He said the most strong-willed and stubborn because it would be the hardest to teach
work
them
together.
the lessons they needed to become a Toa team.
Yeah, and I think it's completely true. They all are, to a certain extent, stubborn and strong-willed.
Yeah.
Even Nokama.
Yeah.
Oh, even as Taraga, they were like
As Taraga, they were even worse.
It was a really bad rap for them. But then you realize, oh well, that was purposeful. It was actually by design.
Yeah.
That they were supposed to be this way.
So after he finishes telling Vakama that,
Yeah, that's when he tells him, like, hey, you should go. He says, I'm going to stay here as bait. You go set up an ambush.
in the Great Temple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then Vakama leaves, and Makuta is like,
All right.
you can come out
now.
And who appears out of the shadows but?
Shadowed one?
No.
No.
Guess again?
I have to keep guessing?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
He's yellow.
And big.
Kitangu?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Because Kitangu's still floating around, so
Yeah.
he's just coming out, and he's like, he wants to 1v1 Makuta.
Right, so it turns out he's been following Makuta this whole time.
Uh-huh.
He's
Oh,
riding the
dang.
high of destroying Sidorak.
Yeah.
He's like, I can solo anyone now.
So it cuts back to Vakama, and he's like, why did I fall for this? Makuta just told me to go keep guard, and I just did it. And he's like, that's dumb.
He's like,
But
he clearly
before-
sent me here just to get me out of the way.
Right.
Yeah.
But before he can actually, do anything about it, Sentrak and the Shadowed One show up.
I think it's just Sentrak.
It's just Sentrak,
Yeah.
you're right. Sentrak shows up, and Vakama tries to hide and be all sneaky.
Yeah.
And then my favorite part in the whole book happens, and it cuts to Sentrak's perspective. And he's like, he heard the telltale sounds of a Toa trying to be quiet.
Yep.
Dude, that
And
line
he
is
just ignored him.
Yeah. That line is so good.
So funny. And so he just straight up ignores him, and Vakama tries all these things to stop him, and he's just
Sentrak's
nothing
not taking
happened.
it seriously at
Not
all.
at all. No, not even a
Because
little bit.
he's doing whatever.
Yeah.
And
He's
then
on
he
a
makes a
mission.
big cloud of darkness, right? And so Vakama's like, where the heck am I? Then the darkness disappears, right? And he's getting turned to stone.
Well, no, what happens is Vakama gets stuck in the darkness, and this is actually a cool moment. So Sentrak puts this sphere of darkness around Vakama, and Vakama is he's like, in the past I would have been terrified by this darkness, but having been through the Hordika, I have like come to terms with the darkness and I've adopted the shadow, right?
And you were merely born in the darkness.
And so then he like orients himself and then uses his launcher. He hears the sound of Sentrak and then he shoots his launcher at Sentrak. That's right. So basically he levitates Sentrak and then he shoots him with a shrinking disc.
Yeah.
And shrinks him down to 6 inches.
Yeah.
And he like grabs him with his hands and he's like, aha, I've won. But of course, Sentrak's powers are still
completely
active.
Unaffected.
And so Vakama is kind of dumb for that. And then Sentrak shoots him with the paralyzing.
No. That's when he starts
using his molecular
stone.
disruption ability to transmogrify Vakama into stone.
Right.
And Vakama's like, oh no.
Like, I'm not going to get out of this.
Yeah.
And then we learn that math exists in Bionicle.
Yeah.
That was the most surprising part. I was like, math, huh? I mean, I guess it's implied several times.
It's
but
mentioned in an earlier book that Vakama is good with mathematics.
Oh, interesting.
Which is weird that it came up again. I was like, yeah, that's pre-established.
Right.
He's good with math.
And so he like basically calculates the exact time to his death.
Oh.
Actually, it says Tomatoran mask makers were at heart mathematicians.
Well, yeah, because you have to be so precise. Which I'm like, that is cool world building. That's what I want to see Wanua have. Like implications of his job rather than nothing. Literally nothing.
So what ends up happening is Vakama sees this like black cylinder that he knows that the Gamatoran were messing around with.
That was the energized protodermis they were experimenting on that got confiscated.
Exactly. And he's like, there it is. And he's like, if I can just make this work, I'm going to,
because it's like 5 seconds till he's fully petrified.
Right. And so then he like, he aims at it and then I think it cuts away.
Yeah.
To
now
Makuta and Kitangu are fighting. And it's like a crazy battle.
Yeah,
like
because Kitangu's really heckin' powerful.
Yeah, right. He is really
and he has
powerful.
A shield that absorbs any energy hit that then goes into his Rotuka launcher that he can fire at people.
Right. And so Makuta blasts him with shadow energy. And Kitangu absorbs it with his shield and then blasts it back out with his Rotuka. And it hits Makuta, but Makuta is completely unaffected. He's like, you can't kill me with my own powers.
Yeah, like shadow power is not going to hurt Makuta.
And then he's like, let's see if the same can be said for you. And then he like grabs the spinning shield and like forces it up against Kitangu's neck.
Yeah,
just crazy.
Which again plays into Makuta's really physically strong.
Yeah, insanely physically strong. And then he also seals off with his heat vision. He seals off Kitangu's Rotuka spinner hatch compartment.
Yeah.
Because like in the set you can see it like comes out of his chest sort of.
Yeah, because it like flips down or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he just Superman welds it.
Right. And so Kitangu can't use his Rotuka spinner anymore, so his main offensive weapon is now gone.
Which is so brutal.
It is really brutal. There are a lot of really, like, the laser vision stuff in particular in this book is like, ouch. That sounds painful.
Yeah.
So the battle is not looking good for Kitangu, and then Vakama does his thing and manages to do that similar, like, welding thing that he did, like, shooting a beam with his finger. And he blasts the energized protodermis. And
the energized protodermis is highly flammable.
Yeah.
And it explodes, and it's a massive explosion.
Imagine if he sent a little bit of fire at the energized protodermis entity. It would have blown up like the inside.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It just would have blown up the whole GSR, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it blows Vakama, like, away, and it, like, blows Sentrak away, and Makuta and Makuta gets like blasted.
It launches Makuta out over the ocean. Like it's so powerful, it just goes like.
So like this thing like obliterated the entire Great Temple.
Well, that's what's weird is I think they mention the Great Temple later on after that happens. I'm like, based off of what you just described, I feel like
it may have been a highly concussive blast where it just sent out like waves through every exit point without disrupting the structure too much.
Yeah, but that would have had to be
cartoon physics.
It is cartoon physics.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd buy that entirely.
Either way,
it's like Team Rocket blasting off again.
Yeah. Massive blast.
Yeah.
And I think it also launches Vakama into the air as well.
Yeah.
Vakama
gets launched.
And so
but he's no longer stoned because Sentrak's not touching him.
Oh, it says also Kitangu would have fallen into the ocean except that he catches onto the ledge with his pick.
Yeah.
because he has like a pick.
The thing he used
Climbing
to climb
tool.
the Colosseum.
Yeah.
He's just
Right.
glump.
So then the Shadowed One shows back up, and he's like,
Because the Shadow One's watching this thing because they sent Sentrak to go do
Right.
whatever.
he's like, basically Sentrak's a failure. I'm gonna go grab this myself. And so he traps Vakama in a protodermis seal, which that's what the power of his staff.
Yeah.
He can like
Make crystalline
protodermis. Yeah. And so he traps Vakama, and he like goes and takes the Vahi, and he's like, you basically has this whole speech about like, you Toa think you can kill Dark Hunters and get away with it, blah, blah, blah. And then Makuta comes over and he's like, my old buddy, the Shadowed One, and the Shadowed One is just like super disrespectful to Makuta. Calls him the Great Makuta, which is the first real indication that we have that he's not the only Makuta.
Yeah. Because the Shadow One's like, oh, the Great Makuta. It's so great to meet you.
Right.
Like, he's obviously being really sarcastic.
Yeah, exactly. And Makuta's like, basically something along the lines of like, I'll let you have the Toa for your revenge. I just need the Vahi, hand it over, basically. And the Shadowed One is like, oh.
Kill one Toa or get the Mask of Time. This is a tough one.
And then Vakama is, of course, overhearing all this happen because he's trapped in crystalline protodermis this whole time. And he's like, actually, the Shadowed
His
One.
mouth isn't covered. His head's still
Right.
free. It's just like his legs.
Yeah. He's like, actually, Makuta is the one who killed your buddies. Just look at his body. And like the Shadowed One like narrows his eyes like cartoon style and like looks down. And he sees like bits of Nadiki popping out of Makuta and like, little parts of Kreka, and he's like, wait a second.
Not to mention, it's much easier to believe Makuta murdered a bunch of people than a random Toa.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it literally
that's been high on like mushrooms this whole time.
It literally says in the book that he
him.
like looked closer at Makuta and he recognized bits of Nadiki and Kreka, and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
I can see what happened here. So immediately he attacks Makuta.
Yes.
And he blasts Makuta with his laser
I-beams.
vision and destroys his wings.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Because Makuta's just like hovering, bat style. And the Shadow One's like, I'm mad. Blew! And Makuta's wings instantly disintegrate and he just goes bloop and starts falling. Yeah. And it plays it up. Like, Vakama is insignificant in this fight. Like, he's not taking either one of them.
Well,
no, not at all.
He steps out of the fight by flying into the air. He just takes off. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm gonna
I don't know how he
watch
escaped the... I guess he just shot it.
I think he broke it or flamed it or whatever.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how.
It's not like super naturally hard crystal. It's just hard crystal.
Well, because it's not like the energy. It's not the protodermis that they create. Or
no, it's not Toa Seal protodermis.
It's not Toa Seal
crystalline.
protodermis.
Although it is
just
pretty strong.
Yeah, it's strong.
And so then, so
but
Vakama,
can it beat Goku though?
well, and the Shadowed One actually hits Makuta with his laser vision.
Yeah, because Makuta comes back up and he's like,
again.
okay, I'm going to throw down, right? And Makuta starts like giving this monologue. And the Shadowed One is like juking around. They're doing stuff. And Shadowed One shoots his eyes and it disintegrates a portion of Makuta's chest piece, right? And then Makuta's like, you think that's going to stop me? No, man, I'm way cooler than you. I'm heckin' Makuta Pterodax. So he just walks up to the Shadowed One, grabs him, and then throws him at Voparak.
What we forgot to mention, that Voparak made his way back over here because he was still being attacked by the Rakshi.
Yes.
And once the Rakshi all died,
then the Rakshi were literally just a distraction. So once they're all dead, Voparak's like, okay, I go back to the Shadow One now.
Right.
Well, he goes to look for Vakama, and because he's like, wait a second, something's wrong here. This feels like this was all a distraction.
After like 2 hours of killing Rakshi nonstop, he's like, maybe I'm being distracted.
Yeah. So then he's like, oh,
He's not
they got
exactly
away.
the
I better
brightest,
go find
no.
the Shadowed One. So that's how. So he shows up during this fight, and Makuta's like, oh, dang, like this is gonna be
Because
harder.
Voparak is a one-hit kill on like anyone. It doesn't
I don't
matter what
know
you
what's
are.
happened
Really.
to Sentrak at this point.
I think he's still recovering or around.
yeah, actually,
Is he
Oh,
still
he gets
tiny?
knocked out.
Well, he gets
knocked out.
yeah.
That's what happens after the blast. He gets knocked out.
So, yeah, so the like this part's interesting because Makuda's trying to deal with the Shadowed One and Voparak at the same time, and he's trying to solve how to take out Voparak, particularly because nothing he can do to him seems to affect him, right? And so...
Well, it literally says Makuda's like running the calculations in his head. He's like, what abilities do I have that could counter this guy? Because he's like almost unstoppable, even by Makuda standards.
Yeah, and Voparak hits Makuda, and it says in the book, it's like, where his foe had touched him, a small portion of his form aged rapidly. So, like... It's extremely dangerous to be around Voparak. So right at that moment, he's like, oh, I got it. I figured it out. And so what he does is he creates a vacuum around Voparak. And he's like, because since there's nothing in the vacuum, there's nothing to age, right? He can't touch. It's
just the absence.
Yeah, it's an absence, exactly. And so Voparak like starts
dying
choking.
He starts to breathe.
He can't breathe. And so he eventually just collapses and passes out.
Which I think is such a cool way to take him.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah.
And he's incapacitated while this is happening too. And so then, and the Shadowed One is still there doing his thing.
Well, that's when after that, as Makuda's kind of distracted, the Shadowed One catches him in crystalline protodermis, and he's like, it held you once before, it can hold you again. Which, this is the part where I'm like, how did he know this?
That's a good point.
Shadowed One has his little minions all around the place.
Well, but the problem is when he sets out, he doesn't even know anything about Mata Nui. He doesn't know where Nadiki and Kreka had gone. He didn't know how many Toa there were. He didn't know what happened to Makuda. And so
I assume he's heard rumors.
It may be possible he knew because the Brotherhood knew that Makuda was trapped. That's why they sent all the Vizorak there. It was months that they occupied Mata Nui. So Makuda being out of commission and presumably in a Toa seal would be knowledge he could have gained.
Yes, I understand, but it would have been knowledge he gained on the journey to Mata Nui, which is an unspecified amount of time. Because when he goes to leave, he does not know Makuda is trapped. Right?
That's
so
true.
Where did he, did Dark Hunters on this, boats going back the other way were like, hey, by the way, Makuda Pterodax is in a Toa seal over there.
He traded a Vizorak battle ram for that
we don't
information.
know how long it took him to get there. Could have been months.
I feel like the implication is that it's very
Barnacle
quick.
Timeline. Let's not talk about it anymore.
Nonetheless, that was one of the lines where I'm like, cool line, but I don't know exactly how you knew that.
Didn't Sidorak and Hordika have connections to Dark?
Hordika
does.
So, and she was very aware of Buddha being trapped.
Yeah, but she was also incapacitated at this point.
And she was very
not
much
a double
focused
agent.
on herself at that moment.
Well, I'm just wondering if there was some sort of unspoken,
well, there was an implication that
message that he found out about Makuda being trapped. But other than that's the only thing that I can think of, other than he just has spies everywhere and they figured it out.
It doesn't really matter. Ultimately, it was just one of those
the one-liner.
Yeah, where it's like, that seems semi-inconsistent.
That's just really makes sense.
So Vakama at this point, he has the Vahi, he doesn't have the Vahi yet. He is flying around in his jetpack and he sees an opportunity, so he flies down and snatches it while the Shadowed One is distracted.
Yeah, because the Shadowed One's been holding it this whole time.
Yeah, and so he grabs it and flies away, and the Shadowed One just blindly lashes out with his heat vision eyes, and he manages to just by sheer luck strike Vakama.
Correct.
And Vakama is like, "Oh, I'm going down," and he starts falling.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Pterodax is like, "You fool! You think this will work on me?" I don't know. He says something else. It's less cool than that, but he breaks out of the protodermis.
I love how it says this. It's like the armor figure flexed his muscles and shattered his protodermis bonds.
Yeah. Makuda's a bodybuilder in this
He
book.
really
I'm
is.
saying he's just boom.
He's also probably just huge.
Yeah. I mean, he's movie-sized Makuta. He's like 14 feet tall.
Right. So anyway, then he grabs the Shadowed One and throws him into Voparak.
Yeah.
And so the Shadowed One then ages like 3,000 years in seconds.
Yeah.
Before he manages to like
Get
crawl
off.
away.
Also, a semi-important note, because this will come up at near the end, is the Shadowed One, before he gets thrown in, does shoot at Makuta with the laser vision or his eye beams, and it dissolves
Part
a portion
of his
his
armor.
chest plate. Yeah. And so it's like
And Makuta's essence is leaking out.
His essence is leaking. So that will come up.
Yeah, so Makuta doesn't have a physical body. His armor is just armor, and it holds his essence inside.
Yeah.
There's no actual like physical component to it, despite the fact that it says he has muscles, which he does
They're
not.
his shadow muscles.
Yeah, because they explicitly don't have muscles. That's weird.
Yeah. Anyways,
He's just flexing pure armor. He's making Protosteel
Metal
flex
flex.
with his strength. That's
I love
insane.
yeah.
That's like bending adamantium with your bare hands.
So Vakama is now like flying uncontrolled over the Great Furnace in Toa Metru.
He's like,
And
I'm
he's
gonna
like,
die.
I'm gonna die.
I'm gonna
But
die.
he's like, at least the Mask of Time is going down with me.
Which this is also interesting, is that he's like, if I hit the ground and the Mask of Time hits with me, it's gonna break. I'm like, which,
He must have been going.
well, yeah, but it's also, this is the first time we hear of like the fact that you could just like drop a mask and have it break.
Well, masks
right?
are really, really strong.
Yeah,
But they can break.
They can break, yes.
So
I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
It also seems like the Mask of Time might be slightly more fragile than other masks. It's hard to say,
It's hard
but
to know.
it does kind of, there's like that slight implication to that. Anyways, so Vakama is about to crash, but he sees all of these tentacles start to kind of form like a little cocoon nest for him, and he gets caught in all of these vine tentacle things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what the heck? And he's like, why? I thought the Morbazak was dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, turns out it's actually Karzani. The plant.
Yes.
And it had reformed when the Toa Metru used the parts of Karzani
for the
for
Lecon too.
for the transport.
Yeah.
When that broke up, the pieces floated back to Metru Nui, and the water had revived Karzani, so it allowed itself to kind of come back.
Yeah.
It's kind of a,
I have come back to life.
but it you know, I guess it works.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, they mentioned it in the 7th book. It's like a little sprout came from the log they were using. It's like, okay.
so it revived itself a little bit, though it seems like it's less powerful. But
It's hard
and
to know. It didn't seem that powerful to start with.
and so then
More
it's
cunning,
like
less
it gives
powerful.
Vakama this whole speech, and it's like, you know, I want to kill Makuta, and Vakama's like, oh, what power do you have? And he's like, I have the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then it explains like,
you can't handle the truth.
so
this
this-
is why it's important that we covered Makuta talking about how
Right.
he influenced Lee Khan to choose
Yes.
the Toa Metru.
so the clincher of the story is that
well, this isn't the end
huh
of that storyline.
of that storyline is that so Makuta thought that he was subverting destiny
Yeah.
by implanting the names of these stubborn, headstrong Matoran
Into Lee Khan's
mind. But what actually happened was Mata Nui himself changed the stars so that the wrong Matoran would be the
he
ones that
knew-
were supposedly destined.
He knew Makuta was watching the stars for
Right.
prophecy about the new Toa.
Yep.
So he intentionally altered the stars to have the wrong Matoran so that Makuta would pick the right Matoran.
Yep.
And so, and he makes a point. He's like, how did he? He's like, you've never stopped to consider that Makuta was able to like influence Lee Khan, but have you ever thought about who was able to influence Makuta?
Well, and he also goes, he's like, Makuta has the Brotherhood, right? The Forces of Darkness. The Shadowed One has the Dark Hunters, another group. He's like, did you ever think people were serving the will of Mata Nui besides the Toa?
Right.
And it's like, oh,
and this is
that would
the
make
first,
sense.
This is the first reference to
Dude,
yet another organization
yes.
that we'll see pop up later.
mm-hmm.
Which is
Crazy to think about.
it's not a
'cause-
spoiler to say this is called the Order
It's
of
the Order of
Mata Nui.
Mata Nui.
Right. Crazy to think about, like, this whole time, up until this point, you only see Makuta as the big schemer behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first big reveal of, yeah, well, you thought that Makuta was like influencing Destiny, influencing Mata Nui, and Mata Nui was the whole time like laughing at you. Just like,
He's like, I've got schemes on schemes on schemes.
He literally says he has schemes within schemes and plans that are so elaborate it will boggle your mind. That is a direct quote
Of Makuta.
From
That's
the
a
book.
Makuta.
That's a Makuta
But no,
quote.
what I'm saying
Yeah.
is Mata Nui had schemes on
Yeah,
schemes
yeah.
on schemes. He's like, you have 2 schemes, I have 3 schemes.
Yeah.
We are not the same.
But also, what crazy confirmation. Vakama's probably thinking, so Mata Nui himself wanted me to be on a team with Onua and Nuju.
He's like, this is all it's worth.
Which is so funny. Anyway, and then immediately after that, Karzani is killed by Makuta.
Well,
It
he's
says-
not really killed. He's like trapped in a dark
Like black,
shroud
like
where
crystal-
there's no heat.
Yeah. Which is gonna kill it, obviously.
Maybe.
It's a plant.
We'll see.
Anyway,
But I also
um,
think it's funny that, back to the Makuta choosing team thing, when the revelation is Makuta chose this team, he's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. When the revelation is Mata Nui chose the team, he's like, really? Explain this more.
Well, I mean, they do kind of explain that because he feels like they're so dysfunctional as
Yeah.
a team
No,
that
yeah.
it's like, oh, of course Makuta chose us. That makes
I know,
a
that's
this
lot more
information
sense.
is also coming from Karzani. To be
I know, that's
fair.
another thing where it's like, I wouldn't totally trust this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and he doesn't exactly. He's
Yeah.
like, where did you get this information? And he's like, a member of the order happened to cross my path a couple months ago or something like
then
that. He's
died.
like, and right before, or I got this information out of him right before he took his last breath or
I know.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, Karzani, I think you're a little bit evil.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, but I liked the
Although
explanation because I was also thinking, well, what about the Toa disc? What about the Nui or the Suva, I guess? And Vakama asks, and he's like, that's when he starts explaining about the Order of Mata
Yeah,
Nui.
agents
He's
of
like,
Mata
the
Nui's
agents
will.
of Mata Nui's will are going around carrying this out to seal, like to sell the illusion to
Yeah.
Makuta that he is the one who has this all planned.
Which is cool.
Yeah. I
just
thought
think
this
it's-
was a really good part.
I think it's a funny visual though, like Mata Nui sitting with like in front of a TV screen watching Makuta read the stars. He's like, ha, this guy.
It's like, got him.
Got him.
So yeah, then Makuta takes out Karzani and he's like, come out, little Toa, I know you're in there.
And then Vakama is like, I got a plan. So he is hiding, and Makuta goes in to find him, and he sees Vakama, and there's this conveyor belt with all these like masks
Broken masks
on it,
on him.
and the Vahi is also on there.
There's like
And-
4 in a line.
Yeah, and Makuta like walks in, and Vakama just pulls out this massive hammer and just smashes a mask, and he's like, and Makuta's like, whoa,
Yeah.
and Vakama is like mad,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Vakama's really mad. This is
real
like the
mad.
maddest Vakama's ever been.
And
he's so done.
he's just
with
completely
Makuta.
done. And Makuta's like, you're not gonna break the Vahi, and then he smashes another mask. And he's like, basically, he's like, I will do it. Like, it's either that or like you enslave everybody, and I watch all my friends die.
Because
He's like,
Makuta's like, think about the consequences. And Vakama's like, I know what the consequences are. If I break the mask of time, all of causality will go out the window. But do you know what that means, Makuta? That means that we will fight each other in the past, in the future, and for all of non-time that is to be. He's like, you won't win. I won't win. It will be the worst thing for both of us. And I know you don't want that, Makuta.
and then he smashes another mask.
Yeah.
And then,
So it's just down to the one mask.
right, the Vahi.
Yeah.
And Makuta's like, fine, do it. And he basically calls his bluff. Mm-hmm. Well, because what happens is Vakama says, I'll make you a deal. I won't smash the mask if you leave us alone. You let us go to Mata Nui, leave us alone, and don't mess with the Rahaga, Paraga, Doom, or Kitangu. And Makuta's like, so basically you just want me to sit here and do nothing and affect nothing for the rest of my life. And he's like, that's not happening. Vakama's like, all right. And he goes to smash the mask. And Makuda's like, wait. Hold on. We can make a deal here. And he's like, fine. I won't harm the Rahaga. I won't harm Kitongu. I won't harm Turaga Doom. And I will leave you alone for exactly 1 year.
Exactly 1 year.
And Vakama's like, he was like, basically he says the other Toa would not have like taken this deal. They would have just fought Makuta and it would have been pointless because they would have lost.
They would have lost.
And he's like, but they all would have done it. And he's like, but I know better. And so he does it. He takes the deal.
Yeah. Because he's like, a life under Makuta is terrible. A life without the Vahi is terrible. But this gives us a chance to avoid both, right? Essentially.
Yep. And so he takes the deal. And and he's like, how do I know I can trust you? And Makuta's like, you can't. What's life without a little risk? And Vakama's like,
literally what he says.
Yeah. And Vakama's like, great. So
great.
He takes the Vahi, which I feel like Vakama kind of got pretty much everything.
Yeah, good end of the deal.
That's a pretty good end of the bargain.
But to be fair, look from Makuta's perspective. He's got all the time in the universe.
Well, and that's what he says. Is he's like, I may not have it now, but that. The fact that it still exists means that I may be able to possess it at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think this is also Vakama knows from his vision that there are going to be more heroes beyond him. And so this is kind of his realization that I'm buying time not for myself, but for the next generation to get here. Next generation to actually take on the task of defeating Makuta. He knows. He just watched
and they've already made all the Toa
shadowed
stones.
One, and he's like, "There's no way I can even contribute to this fight on either side. Like these two beings are way too powerful." So he knows he's not going to be the one to face down Makuta, but he knows someone else is. And I think this is the first sort of tapping into his understanding of destiny, and that's like the first sign of his later Turaga self kind of more trusting of like there is a path,
right?
Not for somebody else.
Well, yeah, it's leading to him letting go because he knows they've already made the 6 Toa stones. He knows the other 5 members of his team are going, right? So he's like, they'll teach him whatever they need to know. And maybe also bets are any other Toa team is going to be better than the Metru. So like they'll have a better chance of beating Makuta.
Yeah.
Right. And so then he just teleports
Paradox teleports Vakama.
Makuta teleports Vakama back to Mata Nui, and
which is a crazy ability that like why didn't you use that other times, Makuta?
I think part of it is like this like almost veiled threat. Like I can get you there, which means I can get there whenever I want.
Yeah.
Right.
Is kind of like this thing like I'm right here. Don't forget about me because I can do here at any time in an instant.
Right. So then Vakama's like, okay, he shows all of the other Toa Metru that he got the Vahi back. And then there's an epilogue. And the epilogue is Akmu's little Matoran pod that they lost in the previous, whichever one, Voyage of Fear, I think.
Yeah, Voyage of Fear.
It's at the bottom of the river because Makuta's kind of like, he's like, okay, well, I might as well go up to Mata Nui as well.
Taking a little stroll up to Mata Nui.
And so he like finds this pod and he is like, they left one behind. So he opens it up and he sees that it's Akmu and he's like, this is perfect.
He's like, you hate Toa, right? Let me tell you about these losers called Toa.
And Akmu's like, I will worship you, Makuta.
And that's not exactly how it went, but I guess it gets the gist.
That's the gist of it. Is Akmu is a little turd and
lost Akmu's.
Well, they did actually.
They actually did completely accidentally lose Akmu's pod.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I knew it might have had something to do with
Makuta
that.
starts like lying to him and anyway.
And that's the origin of Akmu being a jerk on Mata Nui specifically.
Right. Yep.
Mata Nui's organic Akmu. Free range Akmu.
And then there's a second epilogue because Greg loves epilogues.
Well,
Favorite
really
things ever.
Quick before that, Vakama is flashing back and he's like, yeah. And then exactly 1 year after that day, the Rahi started attacking Mata Nui.
Right.
He's like, it was to the day. Makuta was just waiting. But it's also cool that Makuta kept
he had
his
it
word.
marked on his calendar. He's like, all right.
I mean, to be
Toa.
fair, the entrance to his lair is a giant sundial, so he had time kept track of.
And to be fair, if Makuta broke the deal, Vakama could have been like, okay, no time for you.
Right.
I just think it'd be funny, like, to go to his cave, you see all the scratches on the wall from the days he was counting.
So then Vakama so it now flashes back to present day, what is technically present day. So all of the Matoran are now coming back to Metru Nui. They've all kind of started spreading out. Duma and the Rahaga and Kitongu, I think, is also there. They all greet the Matoran and the Toa.
Because Duma, the Rahaga, and Kitongu have been restoring the city while they were away.
And so they all, it's kind of this joyous occasion. And then the chronicler, Holly, shows up. She's like, what, do you have any more stories to tell, Turaga Vakama? And he's like, it's time to start. What does he say specifically?
He said, there will always be new tales to be written and new tales to be shared. But it is time to stop speaking of the past, Holly. We have a future to build together.
So good.
And that's the end.
Conclusion.
Well,
that's the end of Bionicle
there
Adventures.
is something important that happens in this epilogue. And he says, so it's written, it says, as past, present, and possibly even future Toa met on the shore, Vakama stood apart and watched.
Oh my gosh.
Subtle.
That's some
So
crazy.
we were talking about it because we're like, oh, this is, like, it's weird having direct lead-ins to the Anika.
Yeah.
Yeah, Samuel was
there's
saying...
not really a direct lead-in to the Metru. Like, we know that the Turaga exists, but, like, we don't know anything. We don't suspect that they're even
like,
Toa.
Oh, yeah, you do.
You do. There are definitely
there's
hints dropped. Yeah.
Maybe. Okay.
Well, because, like, when Golly gets trapped in the underwater cave,
She's
right?
like, why are these drawings of Toa here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
And Nokama's like, does not compute.
Sorry, Spencer, what were you going to say?
Well, I was saying there's hints, but still the big reveal was at the very end of the comics where they're literally just, you were not the first Toa.
Yeah.
Because that's everyone's thought process is still, you are the first Toa.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's like, no, there was Toa before you.
Mm-hmm.
So it was this, at this point, this was a very clear lead up to the comics. But this was a very clear, like, lead in to the next series. Like, why would he put that? Possibly future. It's definitely future.
Totally, yeah.
The reason he put possibly is because maybe the comic doesn't get published or something. Like, that was the only thing, because it's a very clear, once you read the next series, it's very, very clear that was exactly what that was meant to be.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep. Great.
And moving on to characters.
So I actually have a lot to say about characters and a lot of questions.
Okay.
I think first off, we should kind of define who the new characters are, and like kind of go through the main ones. So obviously we have the Shadowed One, who is the leader of the Dark Hunters, at least as far as we know. He's the leader of the Dark Hunters. You have Sentrak, who is he's a Dark Hunter, fairly high ranking, very experienced. You have Voparak, who is
The time hunting time guy.
Right. Who was designed specifically to hunt the Mask of Time. And then you have Lariska, who is the lieutenant of the Shadowed One, very capable Dark Hunter.
Mm-hmm. She's also the one that recruits Nadiki to the Dark Hunters.
Right. I guess that's all the main like new people, but you have
returning
it's
characters.
mainly
We
the
got
Shadow Hunters.
You have the Dark Hunters. Yeah,
a few like sort of cameos. So there's like Prakua.
Yeah.
Who is
he's the Sonic's Toa from the future.
Theoretical.
He will show up later, so I don't want to get into him now. He's also kind of complicated.
He is very complicated.
Yeah.
Isn't he a member of the Order of Mata Nui?
Also, you have Kitongu returning, which everyone's happy for.
I
forgot he was in this book, so when he showed up, I was like, yeah, get him, get him.
There's something about Kitongu that's just so cool.
Right? I was also happy when Karzani showed up again, because I'm like, oh yeah, I like Karzani, you know? He's a cool guy.
Despite the fact that he just shows up, gives some exposition, and then dies again.
Yeah.
Rip.
But I think my favorite returning character is Bogarak #1.
Yeah, Bogarak #1.
Yeah.
Let's all have a moment of silence for Bogarak #1.
And went out like a Chad, jumping to his death against one of the most powerful beings in the universe. Like, based?
There's also like a few other characters too that are mentioned. So like Triglax is briefly mentioned, who will show up later.
But those are from the Dark Hunter book, so it's just like, whatever.
And then there are some like creatures that are specifically mentioned that are combiner models. So there's the Venom Flyers, which is a Visorak combiner model. There is the Proto-Cairns, which are a Toa Hordika combiner model. And they have... Did we talk about this in the episode, or did we talk about it before?
We'll talk about them in Rahi.
Anyway, so we can start with the Shadowed one.
Yeah. I think the Shadowed one's done really well in this book. Like, he's a cool, threatening villain, like, fights Makuta one-on-one. He doesn't win because Makuta, but puts up a good show. And it's interesting as well. When he gets thrown into Voparak, he gets aged a bunch of time, and he gets less physically fit. So he's slower. He's not as strong. It's like, oh, that's why they set it up with him blitzing Lariska, because now he's weaker. So he has to be more careful, more tactical, whatever. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And why he doesn't show up as much in the current timeline, because, like, he's not as good.
I forgot to mention, and you may want to just cut this and put it somewhere else, but, like, we talked about Makuta getting hurt on his, like, having his chest plate destroyed. And the reason that was important is because he can't, Vakama. He can't just, he wasn't feeling like he could just take on Vakama physically.
Especially since heat and light can destroy Makuta essence. So if like Vakama shot a fireball in there, he may be toasted.
So just as a to follow, because I realized we didn't follow that up.
I do think it's cool to have another big villain. Like, everyone was looking at Makuta, and it's not like you're tired of Makuta, but to have somebody who was kind of near the same power level of Makuta, you're like, wait a minute, there's more than one threat here? Like, and it just goes to show the vast difference between the Toa and the Makuta, which also highlights the capabilities of like Toa Nuva. It just, having another character there, and displaying the power the way that they had it, just kind of just shows you, it shows you the power levels of each individual team, and it just sets the mood a little bit better, I think.
This book does a lot. It definitely does set the power scale, like you're saying, because like Toa team of inexperienced losers, like the Metru, it's like they're not super powerful. They can pull off flukes and whatever. Like, but they go to show lone Toa, who are experienced, can do crazy amounts of stuff, right? It's like Lariska, with 2 weeks of prep, you managed to kill a Toa. Like, the Shadowed one was blown away by that. That's how rare it is that even a single Toa can hold off stuff.
Right, because you're not thinking much of the Toa Metru at this point. And also, Vakama, the way he was displayed did show a lot of competencies. But definitely having the Dark Hunters now, kind of, you think of Nadiki and Kreka, you're like, they were kind of a force, but Makuta kind of basically just ate them for breakfast.
Yeah.
It made you feel like, okay, these Shadow Hunters can actually be a threat in this universe.
Yeah,
the Dark Hunters. I keep saying Shadow Hunters.
Yeah.
Sorry. Watched Yu-Gi-Oh! So.
Oh no.
Well, and it's cool as well having the Dark Hunters, because two villainous factions that fight each other is my favorite trope in like ever. It's like, oh man, which villain's gonna win? Because the story would function either way, right?
Like, it definitely does. Like, you don't need to have both of them. You can only have one of them, and it's still kind of the same plot. But now you have this sort of other, like, the Dark Hunters could end up being the main villain at the end of this, or the Makuta could end up being the main villain. Or they could
end up being the main villain of the next wave.
You never know. You really never know.
There's no way to possibly know this.
Until next week.
No, it's a few weeks.
Oh.
It is interesting to me how it's like, it's sets up the clear distinction between what they were trying to convey with the Toa as, how do I say this? Like,
Force in the universe?
Not diegetically. It's what Lego is trying to tell through the story is that they're trying to portray the Toa as a team, right? You're better as a team. You work better. You're more powerful as a team. Individually, you may be pretty good, but as a whole, teamwork is better. Really unity. Like unity, right? Yeah, exactly.
6
unity.
Inexperienced bums of Toa, if they're united, they can take out Makuta.
Yeah.
Top level of the power scale in the universe. It's like, whoa.
And well, you see that actually in tons of Lego media. Actually, that's like what you just said is almost the exact conclusion of the Lego movie.
Yeah.
When he's not the conclusion, but when he's saying like, look at all this stuff that people built. You guys have no clue how to work together, but when you do, you can, but when people do work together, they can build skyscrapers, right? And it's like, so Lego has pushed that message. Even in Clutch Powers, we build on each other, right? And it's like, so it's really interesting that they exemplify that in the story really strongly right here.
Yeah, unity, duty, destiny are huge in this book.
Because they're showing that it's like, alone, Vakama is nothing compared to Makuta and the Shadowed One. Like, the evil factions are way more powerful, but they are individuals. Even though the Shadowed One has subordinates, right, who follow him, you already see in Lariska that they don't all want to follow him, and they don't all, like, they would kill him if given the opportunity, right? And same thing with Makuta. As far as we know, he's the only Makuta at this point, right? But as we see later, the Makuta are very similar. Like, they technically have a leader and they technically follow him, but they're all backstabbing, like, power-hungry maniacs, yeah. And so it's like, you really see the idea that the Toa are weaker, but together they are actually quite powerful. And so I think with the introduction of the Dark Hunters and the Shadow One, that is an even more potent message of specifically the Toa Metru, but it will carry throughout the whole.
Yeah, like they need to be together, because what happens when they fall apart is they meet the same fate of that Toa of gravity.
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought it was well done pushing that.
And it also pushes one of Lego's other narrative goals of like, hey, these Toa aren't showing up again. You should buy the new Toa that are coming up. Because they're the ones that do things. You know, Vakama can't help them now. Any closing thoughts on the movie?
The book?
I wish
you don't
there was
want to
a
cover
movie
any
of
of the
this
other
book.
characters.
Oh.
We kind of talked about a lot of them.
Yeah.
Sentrak is kind of cool in that he is described specifically as not being dead or alive. And he also can't be killed by any conventional means.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
He's based.
We have no clue what his species is.
Because he was made as an experiment to make loyal Dark Hunters. So the Shadow One's like, I've done it. I've made the most loyal Dark Hunter. But he'd erased every single memory Sentrak had, so he had to teach him everything from scratch. Which is why he's so loyal and like robotic.
Yeah.
That and not being alive or dead.
Right. He's kind of like Kreka, but way more useful. And it also
most people are more useful than Kreka.
It also says that, so we don't talk about Ancient in this book, but Ancient is the other like right-hand man to the Shadowed One.
Well, we'll talk about that with Dark Hunters.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, so Sentrak is on par with that. So those two are like the
very
highest
powerful
ranking.
Yeah.
Aside from the Shadowed One members of the Dark Hunters.
Yeah, I also want to go over Sentrak's abilities because it says on Biosector, Sentrak has a multitude of powers, and he does, because he has a darkness power, which is what puts him in the sphere of darkness. If he's touching something, he can transform the molecules. The more dense it is, the longer it takes to go through, which is why Vakama is going slowly, whereas like he could transmute flames very fast because flames aren't dense at all. He can also mind wipe people and erase their memories, and he can cast illusions, and has a Rotuka spinner that can dematerialize the target.
Dang.
It's like, this guy is stacked to the gills.
Yes, he is.
I also really love his design.
Yeah,
like,
it looks really
It is
cool.
one of the coolest combiners
Honestly,
Definitely.
all of the Titan combiners look really cool.
I think all they needed was Kitongu. Kitongu was the one set they needed to make all their combiners
That is so
look
true.
cool. Because the Shadowed one's a pretty good combiner.
Mm-hmm. The secret sauce is Kitong. Yeah, Ventrax.
Secret
I
sauce
like
is
him.
always Kitongu.
Interesting
So saucy.
thing about Voparak is, and you guys
Goated
probably
with the
knew this,
sauce.
but I just learned it, is that he's one of Sidrak's species.
Yep.
Just
He's
a,
a stealth.
heavily mutated
Voparak.
Voparak.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a highly mutated stealth. Yeah, he's really cool, which is why he has 4 arms.
Not like the Ben 10 alien.
There's a Ben 10
forearms.
alien.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Nothing like
Another
that.
guy
Swamp
with
fire.
4 arms.
Yeah, so the other characters, Lariska and Krakua, we'll talk about later when we get to other more specific shadowed.
Dark Hunters.
Dark Hunters
Yeah, when we do
or-
Dark Hunters, we'll...
Yeah, Spencer got me saying Shadow Hunters now.
Yeah.
I played my trap card.
But yeah,
Your
so
time trap card.
Well, we should go over the last character, who's Makuta. Like, how do we... Any thoughts on Makuta as a whole? Because I think he was done really well.
I think he
in
is
this
done
book.
really well. That sounds so stupid. I think he was done well. Yeah.
I think it was cool to see both the physical aspect and the power aspect of Makuta.
Yes.
Like, there was moments where he just muscled his way through things, and other times where he's like, "I'm gonna laser you."
Yeah.
yeah. Well, he uses.
Face.
I was kind of keeping track of which powers he uses throughout, and he mostly uses his physical strength, but he also uses his heat vision a couple times. He uses his vacuum power. He uses chain lightning. I don't remember if there are any other
He used
specific
some-
ones.
didn't he use-
Teleportation.
Darkness a
Oh yeah,
lot.
teleportation, darkness.
Yeah, he used some sort of like darkness, like
Oh, well, illusions.
Oh
True.
yeah, true.
That's
yeah.
true.
Pretty big
That's
part of the
true.
book.
Yeah. So like, just go down the list of the Makuta powers. He probably uses it in this book.
Yeah, which is, it's cool to see.
and the
It is
ability
cool.
to summon like billions of
Roxy.
Roxy.
Yeah.
Right.
Just all of a sudden.
I really just liked how Makuta was done in this because he's kind of both humanized a little bit in this story and simultaneously terrifying.
Did you say you liked or disliked?
I liked it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I liked it.
Clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he's threatening and imposing, but not so much that you're like, oh, Vakama's like
He's
you
not
didn't-
unbeatable.
Yeah, you didn't feel like Vakama was toast, like completely done, like the story's over. And I liked that because he had that air, that presence, right? But it didn't feel like Vakama was out of the race entirely.
And you also always got the feeling like if he really tried, he could wipe Vakama off the face
Well,
of the
and
planet.
he kind of makes
Yeah.
points of that throughout. He's
Yeah.
like, don't test my patience. Like, I can just annihilate you.
And dude, their relationship is so funny. Reading this book, I'd have to stop like every page and just be like,
Yeah.
I just have to laugh a little because I'm like, these guys are hilarious.
I know.
together.
I mean, they're
loved it.
mortal enemies
I know.
who are only working together because of this bizarre situation they found themselves in, right?
Which is an incredible trope. One I
Yeah.
love very,
yeah,
very much.
it's well done here, I think.
Yeah.
I
No.
think it was also interesting. You see Makuta think through a lot of these
Mhm.
things. Like, he could have just killed Vakama on the spot.
Yeah, when he knocked him
But
out.
he's like, you know what? I need to conserve my energy because I know this upcoming fight with Shadowed One is going
Mhm.
to be tough.
Yeah.
So he and the whole gambit with the Mask of Time thing at the end, he was thinking, well, 1 year's not that much for me.
Yeah.
But right
Yep.
now, it's very possible that Vakama has the guts to destroy the Mask of Time and it will set me back forever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you see this sort of cunning wit to him as well as brute strength. It really kind of just makes him form into the ultimate villain
Yeah.
because you see the physical strength, you see the energy strength. I don't know
Yeah,
what you
the
massive
non-physical,
The elemental
yeah,
or
the
the-
elemental.
Yeah.
yeah, the massive power there, and you see the cunning wit of he's actually thinking these things through.
Well, and you see his ego and malice, right? Because he's always hyping himself up, and he doesn't care what happens to other people. And you see his control over subordinates, right?
Yeah.
He's sending Roxy's to his death. He's sending the Vizorak to his death. When Vakama's working for him, he's like, I don't care if he dies or not.
Yeah.
Just give me the Mask of Time. So like he hits all the traits of a Dark Lord. Should have been S tier. Should have been S tier.
Something that we like going back to what you were saying about him just actually thinking things through, and I don't think we actually mentioned it, is when Zentrak collapses the cave. Makuta specifically does not go out the way they collapse because he's like, they're going to be watching that.
Yeah.
So we need to go out a different way. And so that's why he's dragging Vakama with him.
By the foot.
Yeah, because he's like, we're walking to an entirely different exit because we are not going out that way, because he's thought about it and he's like, no, we need to be smart.
Which also
here.
plays into another thing. Makuta knows his way around the entire island, right? He's like, oh, this tunnel's blocked off. I know exactly where to go.
Well, obviously, yeah, because
inside the Great Barrier, he's got all sorts of gadgets and gizmos and bases and whatever, right? It's like Makuta knows, like, because information's so scarce in this world, Makuta has almost all of it. Like, he knows so much stuff.
Yeah.
And going back to he has schemes upon schemes upon schemes. You can't beat him. It's like, that actually kind of gets paid off. He does have a lot of schemes, and he's pretty good at them. Just saying.
Like, even the stupid, like, even the setup for schemes that he doesn't pay off because he ends up using them for something else, like the Rockshi, for example, right? Like, he has this whole plan of what he could do with the Rockshi. Instead, he's like, you know what? Forget that. I have backup schemes. I'm just going to use them to distract this guy and we'll figure that out later, right? And it's like, wow, he's really prepared.
Yeah, this dude's like evil Batman.
Well, I think that's all we want to talk about. Anything else?
No, I think that pretty much covers.
Yep. I like Makuta. I like Vakama. This is a good book. You should read it.
True. Yep. Free on BioMedia Project. Read it. The point of this podcast is to teach you things about Bionicle, and also so you'd read the books. They're so good. A lot of them are good.
As a whole, they're pretty good.
As a whole, they're good.
And they only get better, actually, from here.
Yeah, from here, they do get really good.
Yep.
Helps you tie in a lot, miss a lot if you don't read the books.
It's true.
So true.
Miss out on a lot of things. So I think it's a good idea for you guys to check it out. And tie up those loose ends that are in your brain about what's going on.
If you're only
I was going to say, alternatively, if you don't want to read the books, just wait for us to discuss the books. And there you go. You get the whole synopsis.
Good point.
Aren't you lucky? You, specifically, viewer.
Yes.
This is
you,
why,
the one that Jacob is pointing to right now.
You.
Yep. This is why I don't watch the podcast, is I'm not lazy.
Ooh.
Didn't you not read the book?
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
Bro sat on his laptop and played Pokerogue all day.
Anyways,
that's a wrap for today. Come back next week so that we can do the Vizirac.
Ooh.
And please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment.
Of a comment.
Of a comment.
Of a like.
Let
of
us
a
know
scribe,
if
and
we...
And smash that notification bell.
Let us know if you want us to cover anything in particular.
Well, if you have questions,
you can
send them in. We could have a segment where we answer questions.
Yeah.
That would
Email
be fun.
us, ask us in the comments. We are always happy to answer, and we love interacting with everybody. And
fly over our house, send airplane people to skywrite messages to us. That's also an effective way.
We accept smoke signals, carrier pigeons.
Fax.
If you want to send us a tablet created by your recorder, Rahi, you can do that.
We exchange answers for Vizirac battle rams.
Right.
Yeah.
Send those, please. Anyways.
Do you have owls like in Harry Potter?
No.
Oh, no, they're called, wait, hold on.
Venom flyers are what deliver information.
Yeah, Venom flyers.
Okay,
that was in my notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, send a Venom flyer.
Yeah. And with that, good night, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
This brings us to the end of today's podcast. If you enjoyed the discussion, please follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you like to watch instead of listen, you can also find us on YouTube. The Barraki Talk Show is only made possible thanks to viewers like you. Thank you.